Hello, everybody, and welcome to. Let me just check I'm working. Yes, I am. And welcome to another LFC Transfer Room stream. We're here. It's just Saturday night preview. It's the big one, ladies and gentlemen. It's the one we've been talking about for weeks, months. It's finally arrived. It's Manchester City versus Liverpool in the Premier League. And it is tomorrow at 4:30 live here as well in the LFC Transfer Room for a live watch along with myself. I'm joined today by Tar, Owen, and Damon. Tar, how you doing?
Doing great. I'm very, very excited for the game. Sunday can't come soon enough.
And Owen, how are you feeling?
I'm nervous. I'm really nervous. You laugh, but it's gonna be a tough watch for all of us. I think. I don't think there's going to be any easy way of watching the game.
No, not at all. Damon, I don't think we've done a stream together, but hello, nice to meet you. How are you doing?
I'm all right. I was a bit excited at the beginning of the week, but now we're closer to the game itself. I'm a nervous wreck, to be honest.
Yeah, it's gonna be a not too much sleep tonight, I wouldn't think. Luckily, the Grand Prix on in the morning, so I'll get up to watch that. I think. Got a few people arriving now. Anthony, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Tar, let's just jump straight into it. You, of course, did your weekly Scouse Abroad show with Jack recently. If you haven't watched that, go and check that out after this stream. It's a really good, high production, top tier bit of content that we do on a weekly basis. All the gadgets are out, so make sure you go and check that out. I've got to address it straight away. You threw out a score prediction in that stream. Could you please tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so for people who didn't watch the Scousers Abroad, the latest edition of the Scousers Abroad, towards the end of the show, Jack and I, we always give our predictions out. And he asked me, and I said, my heart says Liverpool win. My head says it's a City win. But you always got to go with what your heart say. And I'm going with a Liverpool 5-4 win. I think there's just going to be goals galore in the game tomorrow. I'm feeling hyped for it. I think that both teams are going to come out full throttle. It's a game that's been on everyone's calendar for a while now, and everybody's hyped up about it. And I think it deserves that looking forward to, that energy that the fan clubs are having, the coaches, 22 games played between them, 9 wins each, and then the rest are draws. So it's all even. It's as close as you can be, and you can almost make the case that the 22 players who will be on the pitch tomorrow are the 22 best in the world right now. So I think it's going to be a fascinating match.
Yeah, I mean, he's not wrong. This is a fixture that between these managers has had plenty of goals. We go all the way back to the season where we got to the Champions League final and unfortunately lost out. It was 4-3 in the league in that second game. More recently, 3-1 to Liverpool at one point. The 2-2 this season, obviously. We won't go into last season, but we did get thumped by them. Phil Foden played brilliantly. Alisson had a howler. But he's right. There's been lots of goals. So do you see it going similarly tomorrow?
I can't say I agree with that, to be honest with you, because I think the defence is just too good. If you see the amount of goals both teams have conceded so far this season, it's not many at all. I can say that. And I think the two best defences in Europe, in my opinion, got best centre-back in the world in Virgil van Dijk. And on the other side, obviously, we know Ruben Diaz is out the game. But if he was there, then I think he's a big loss to them, though. That has to be mentioned. But even without him, they've still got great depth. You know what I mean? They've got Laporte and then Stones. So, yeah, I don't think they'll miss him too much, if we're being totally honest. But he's still a fantastic player. And then you've got the fullbacks, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Andy Robertson, two of the best in the world. And that's just common facts, if we're being totally honest. And then you've got Joao Cancelo and Kyle Walker, who they're going to want to bum up as well because they're playing at home. If it was us, we'd be doing the same. So we could definitely get them on the counter attack, and that's how we want to play. I expect them to have more of the ball. So it'll be a fascinating affair for sure.
I'm seeing some new faces in the chat. Ashton Cox and Manuel. Welcome. If you are new, please do consider subscribing. Also, hello to Hyla Couch, not the real one. Thank you very much for joining us. Damon, it sounds like you're as nervous, if not more nervous than I am. How are you thinking tomorrow will go? Is it a high scoring affair? Is it maybe more cagey because both teams have so much to lose on this occasion?
I'm on the cagey side, if I'm honest. If it is high scoring, I'm surprised Tara is not more nervous than us, to be honest. Because if it's high scored, I think we'll be able to go through with that. I think we should appreciate how good of a team these two teams are, and the standard they've set in the last few years is something like this league's never seen before. These two are the best two teams in the world. Whether Chelsea fans can throw their World Cup at us, they can do it all they want. They've got slapped by Brentford. So yeah, these are the two best teams in the world. Best on form in the world as well. I'd just about say so. I know there's Bayern Munich, but they still don't do it for me like City and Liverpool do. So yeah, we've just got to appreciate what these two teams have offered to this league. And what did Jamie Carragher say yesterday about the biggest rivalry? I sort of get it in a way. If you go on the term basis for quality, then
yeah.
You'd say so. It is the biggest rivalry. Obviously, Arsenal Man United had more of a fierce rivalry than City and Liverpool. But in terms of quality, there's no two better teams that this league's seen, if I'm honest.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely spot on, and that's what I've been seeing a lot of on Twitter is people who grew up watching football in the 90s and early 2000s talking about that rivalry between Arsenal and Man United. Sir Alex versus Wenger. Like even I know that that's a very historic, very prestigious battle that went on. But you're absolutely correct. The reason I think this is bigger is if you're looking at it through the lens of pure quality. Two teams who are absolutely elite, like Arsenal and Man United. I don't want to open a can of worms here. They were absolutely brilliant teams, but this really is like another level, isn't it? This is two teams who are, when they're in form, don't have many injuries, they do not drop points. And that's why this is, for me, it could become a defining game. I tweeted recently, it could become a defining game of the Klopp and Guardiola era. Because, if we win this, Tara, I'll start coming towards you. If we win this, then maybe we're favourites to win the title. That then gets Klopp another title, pulls back Man City. He's also got a Champions League. I think both managers look like they're potentially leaving around similar times. And, does it feel like this will be a rivalry that will go down in history? And does winning this league bring Klopp back into the conversation of actually edging it on Pep Guardiola?
Oh, definitely it does. I think you look at the two managers and their career path, it's almost been the opposite. Pep Guardiola has been at the big clubs. He's managed the world-class players. Meanwhile, Jurgen Klopp sort of that underdog story. He had to build his way up back at Mainz, Borussia Dortmund, came to Liverpool. You saw Klopp's first starting 11. It was Borini, Balotelli, Lambert, whoever we had up front back then. And you look at the plethora of options that exists now. It's a completely different side, and the man behind all of that success is Jurgen Klopp. So you can say the same for Pep Guardiola. It takes a world-class manager to coach a world-class team, so he has all the rights and all the bragging rights to say that he's one of, if not the best managers. But it's so even between these two. I mentioned earlier, 22 games played, 9 wins each, and then 4 draws. So that's dead center in terms of who's edging the other one. And I think this game, the winner of this match, there's gonna be a lot of momentum swing, whichever favor it goes towards the winner, whether it's Liverpool claiming that 2-point lead or City extending it to 4 points. Whoever has that edge in this game will have a huge step forward in that title race. And for sure, whoever wins this one will have the better stat compared to the other manager. So it's huge from a manager point of view and also from a team's point of view. Cracking.
Owen, hang on, I've forgotten what I was going to ask now. Let me get to the comments quickly. It'll come back to me. Hyla says, Liverpool have the best defence and attack versus Man City, but City have a midfield clearly stronger than ours. Man City have the home ground. We have the Liverpool fans. That's what I wanted to ask you, Owen. We'll get into the team news and predicted 11s, that kind of thing shortly. But in terms of when it gets to the 90 minutes tomorrow around, 6:15 time, if we have won, it definitely doesn't guarantee we've won the title. There's still a long way to go. But if we were to lose, for you, Owen, does that make it pretty much a foregone conclusion that Man City would win the league?
Yeah, it does. I think if City win, I think the title is virtually theirs. It's funny you say that, actually, because I was actually talking about that last night. But I just think City, the amount of depth they've had, as I said before, and just the quality, they just don't drop points. It's like you got 2 title-winning teams there, and I just think City are way too good now. 4 points it would be if they won the game, and yeah, I couldn't see them dropping enough points. And then obviously bearing in mind as well, we have to go and play United, Tottenham, Everton, a lot of big games there. City have got the easier games in my opinion, so I think we'll probably drop more points than them from going on forwards. So yeah, I think if we lose, the title's gone.
And Damon, even if we draw, we're still, a point behind them. And as Owen says, we do, I'd say pretty much conclusively, we do have a tougher run in. I was saying just before we jumped on, and it might be a little bit controversial, I said I'd prefer for us to lose than to draw, because if we draw, we're still a point behind them. We think it only takes one game and we're back in front again, etc., etc. But it just gives me PTSD back to the time we lost out by a point, because we were at this stage, at that point last during that season, and both teams just kept on winning, no matter what the other side did. And I'm just not prepared to get hurt like that again. I'd rather lose out and be 4 points behind. But Damon, if we were to draw, do you think we stand a chance?
I do get your point. If we do draw, obviously we're still second favourites out, and they have got the easy fixture list, like Owen said. So we probably are going to lose if we do draw. So like you said, if we lose, at least we don't get our hopes up in a way. It's the hope that kills you, in it, most of the time. So yeah, a draw would be okay, but we do need to just go. This is our chance now tomorrow to really cement our place in history, and tomorrow's the match. You've got Everton, Man United. I don't see a problem with them beating them 2 to be honest after today. Tottenham's your next one, which one is a tricky one, but City have got a couple of tricky fixtures themselves, but they are favourites at the moment, aren't they? But yeah, I do think we need to win. We need to go all out tomorrow. It's win or nothing, isn't it, really?
Absolutely. Ashton Cox says, we have a tougher run, but we have a better team. Wink face. That's the way to look at it. We'll get into the teams, because I'm curious as to what you guys would go for. I think the defense pretty much picks itself. Maybe some of you would argue Matip or Kanate. I don't know, but we'll leave that for now. Important to note, Trent and Thiago weren't in the team that played in the previous fixture when we drew 2-2. I completely forgot about that. I knew that we had Milner playing right back, but it just completely got lost on me that Thiago didn't play and Trent didn't play. So having them back is going to be huge, you would imagine, especially with Man City losing Ruben Diaz as well. So potentially that hopefully swings it a little bit more in our favour. But let's talk about the midfield. Tara, I'll come to you first, because I think I'll be safe to assume Fabinho is in your midfield 3 and Thiago is in your midfield 3. Who fills that right-sided midfield 3 for you? Because Keita's played the last couple of games and looked pretty good, but Henderson came on in the second half against Benfica and arguably helped us transform the game back into our favour. Does that do anything for you?
Yeah, I think there's a reason that Jordan Henderson was on the bench against Benfica. He's probably rested for this fixture. Most Liverpool fans would agree that I think Klopp would prefer the OG, midfield. You know where to go. Everyone knows their role. Henderson, when Trent's bombing forward towards that right side, he can drop back, shift over, and help his buddy out there. But I think it's just a simple fact. You play your captain in the biggest game of the season, and there's a reason he got the rest.
Damon, do you share that opinion as well? I mean, Henderson's not been short of critics this season, not the best of starts, but perhaps starting to win people back over again slightly, maybe?
Well, that midfield we played against Benfica was my dream midfield. I've been waiting for that midfield for a long, long time. We've seen it once before. I can't remember the last time we saw it, to be honest. Henderson is important in these games, but I wouldn't not choose that midfield we had midweek. They were so good together, and they've just flowed throughout the game. And we need that tomorrow. I think we've got an opportunity now to really take it to Man City. Without Ruben Diaz, I think Thiago, Keita, and Fabinho is the way forward tomorrow. I do.
I'll put this straight back to you, Damon, not to pick on you or anything.
Go on.
Obviously, in that first half against Benfica, that midfield three, I agree, they were brilliant, really helped us take control. But we saw in that opening 5-10 minutes of the second half that we did quite dramatically lose control, and there were a lot of loose balls, especially in that midfield area. And Henderson ddid come on and shore it up and worked his arse off. And that is, I hate to be so elitist, but that is against Benfica. In Klopp's eyes, maybe, is that an indication that against a team like Man City, maybe you do need to rely on Old Faithful?
Well, I think he will go Henderson, to be honest. I think Klopp will go Henderson, but if it were me, I would go same midfield for his midweek. I mean, Klopp goes Milner, doesn't he, when he can, but so that says everything about Klopp. He trusts his old players, he trusts the experienced players in these type of games. But I think we've got an opportunity to really go for it tomorrow. But it's on Klopp, isn't it? He will go for Henderson. We know that. I think he will go for Henderson, Fabinho, and Thiago. But that's him, isn't it? If he thinks that's the right thing, then we'll back him, don't we? So.
Yeah, exactly. Owen, what about you? Who would you start in that midfield spot?
I'd probably go with Fabinho, Milner, and Henderson, to be honest with you. Yeah, I know it's going to be controversial. But...
Come on, Owen. You can't. 45-year-old Milner.
No, I'm not having that. I'm not having any of these.
Look, don't get me wrong. I love him, right? But you can't bench Thiago to fit Milner in.
Yeah, you can. Milner,
you've got to explain this one.
You got the legs for Milner. We're not what?
I don't think he does have the legs. Not anymore.
Yeah, I think he does. And I think he's got more legs than Thiago, at least. I think Thiago is good passing, but he does lose the ball a lot. And I think in this game, Milner, Henderson, we need the experience. Look, they know how to win a league title. They know how it's done in these big games. And I think Klopp will go with them as he knows he can trust them.
Okay, that's really taken me by surprise there. I don't know. Tar, help me out with this.
That is the hottest take I've ever heard on LFC's transfer room history. I'm still in shock. I'm still like, what is going on? James Milner. Wait, do you misspell Thiago? James Milner.
It's time. Honestly, I
that's
just think
what he's been saving him for all season.
Should Minamino start up top as well? If Milner's playing, should Minamino and Origi start up top?
No, don't be silly now.
What?
Look, maybe Thiago on.
Thiago has so much more ball playing ability than anyone else in our team. You can argue he's the best passer in our team, and you're playing against Man City, where you gotta try to control the possession, feed it side to side, thread those through balls. He's been fantastic. When's the last time Milner started a game?
The first 45 minutes is about getting through. Just don't let City destroy us in the first 45. That's what I think it's going to be. And I think Milner is the best player for that, to help us do that. Where Thiago, if we're 0-0 half-time, 1-0 half-time, we can bring Thiago on and then we can go for City. I think that's the way we should play it. I think if we go for City straight away, which I fear we might, then I think we could get obliterated in the first opening 10-15 minutes.
So you think we should be you think he should be backs to the wall for the first 45?
Yeah, I do. It's-
Damon,
I don't know
thoughts?
what that. I don't know what to say to that. Well, we just don't play like that, do we? Liverpool are an attacking team, and they've always been an attacking team. I think we're more attacking in terms of pace and in your face than Man City. Man City will just pass the ball around the box. At the end of the day, we've got a brilliant defence. We need to trust that defence. We need to trust Fabinho on his own in that number 6 role. We do it every other game. I don't see the point in changing it tomorrow where we don't trust Fabinho on his own. We don't trust these defenders to cover the midfield area as well as what Nab. I mean, it's not like Naby Keita, Thiago, and Henderson couldn't do that. But no, Milner's a hot take on him. Milner is.
Sorry, go on.
Go on.
I tell you, if we play Naby Keita tomorrow, we will get destroyed. That midfield will get overrun. Honestly, we will just not win the game if Naby Keita plays tomorrow.
I think it's hard. Milner one that I don't agree with, but I understand not playing Naby Keita. It could be Henderson, Thiago, Fabinho. I'd accept that because Henderson and Fabinho do the job in the 6-8 role anyway. But Milner, he just hasn't got the legs. He wouldn't be able to. Last time we played Man City, we had Milner at right back, and he made Sterling look like prime Messi. I mean, he was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. He must have been up all night, Milner, after that game. I don't want to see it again. I think if I see him at team sheet tomorrow, I think I just expect the worst. If I'm honest.
Milner's great defensive cover as well for Robertson when he's up and down on the left-hand side.
Oh yeah,
there's drops in, and it works perfectly, I think.
Yeah, no doubt his work rate, but it's just not good enough.
I mean, Owen, we've seen all season and for as long as Guardiola's been in charge, when teams sit back, Man City love that. They'll just pass and pass and pass and control every bit of space and strangle a goal out of you eventually. It's when teams have gone for it, Tottenham, us when we, thought we were going to win it, and then they managed to peg us back 2 times. But all the times that they've lost and dropped points is when the other team has actually tried to put them under pressure rather than just trying to rely on a counter-attack. I mean, surely Milner can't. Milner's just not quick enough for that kind of thing.
Actually, in the Tottenham game, though, that's actually false because Tottenham just sat back the whole game. If you watched it, it was like, honestly, they attacked about 10 times and they scored 3 goals. That was luck.
And all right. I'll give you the Tottenham game, but Man City missed about 5 very clear-cut chances on a different day. A different day, they would have battered Tottenham, and I rest by that. We can come back to this. It's interesting, and some people in the comments have got things to say, but we'll go up to the front 3. I think there is a big talking point here. A lot of people thinking maybe Luis Diaz deserves a go at this top end of football. He's proven himself since he's come in January. There's also discussions about Firmino, which I think is important. I think he should start, to be fair. Tara, I'll come to you. We'll just start with everyone's front 3 of choice for now, and then we can talk about the whys afterwards.
Yeah. Salah outright. I don't think he's gonna get dropped. I understand he's not been firing and he's not been the same super Mo Salah. We all know the human freak that we all know, but he has to start for me. Out left, I'm gonna go with actually Luis Diaz. I think Luis Diaz gets the nod. He's been brilliant so far. He's adapted to life at Liverpool quickly. He's got blistering pace, and I think that you approach this Man City game blitzing them. You don't want to sit back, absorb pressure. You go at them, you attack them. So Luis Diaz will be a key catalyst down that left wing. And then centrally, I'm going to go with Diogo Jota. I think he's also another lethal goal scorer. He's got 14 goals in the Premier League this season, 20 goals in all competitions. So, yeah, when the ball is around the 18-yard box, when there's no, clear-cut opportunities, chances, he sticks his leg out, he converts it. He also can finish with his head. So, my front 3, Salah out wide right, Luis Diaz out wide left, and Jota in the middle.
Okay, and Owen, what about you? I dread to think what it might be, but let us know.
Well, what I think Klopp will go with is Salah, Mane, and Diaz. I think they will be the three Klopp will go with. But if it was up to me, I would go with Salah, Mane, and Jota. I think Jota is just a better finisher all around than Mane is. So I think in this sort of game, you're not going to be creating huge amounts of chances against that City defence. So you will kind of want a lethal finisher in there. So I would pick Jota.
And Damon, what about you?
I would actually go Salah, Mane, Diaz. I'd put Mane at false 9. I see Kyle Walker as a liability at Man City, so if he does play it right back, I think Diaz could have him on strings. Jota just hasn't been doing it up front for me recently. He's brilliant coming out wide from the left, and he does score when he gets chances, but he's just link-up play with everyone else recently. It's just been not the Jota that we're used to seeing. If anyone else needs to start, I'd say Firmino. I think Firmino played well when he came on midweek. I think he's probably better in terms of the game, dropping back to link up with midfield, because we'll need that extra man in midfield. So that's why I've gone Mane instead of Jota, because I think he can do that more than what Jota can. I think it'd be nice to have Jota to come off the bench later on if we do need a goal. I mean, he's one of the best finishers in the league, isn't he? So
I'm interested. I didn't think that many people would put Jota in their front three. So Tar and Owen, the two who did, I'm curious to hear more of why you've decided to do that. Because for me, he's maybe bar Salah, but in current form, maybe not. I feel like he's our best out-and-out goal scorer. The way he can just turn up somewhere in the box, whether that's with his head, with his foot, and get those goals for us. But in a game as intense as Man City, I don't think that he offers enough, especially in that false 9 role. And I wouldn't be starting him on the left over Mane or Diaz. So I think the only place for him would be in the middle. But does he offer enough? Because as Hyla said earlier in the stream, you could argue that Man City maybe have a better midfield than us, or better depth in the midfield. And this is where a lot of that game's going to be fought, isn't it? So surely you'd want someone like Firmino who can drop in and give us that extra man, give us that fourth man in the midfield. What does Jota give to both of you?
Oh, he gives you goals. He's the second highest goal scorer on the team. I think that it's a no-brainer, really, that you go with him. He's firing in front of the 18-yard box. He can finish right, left, head. And in a game like against a side that will attack you, like Manchester City, there's going to be gaps in their defense when we're hitting them maybe on the counter, or we intercept a pass in midfield. And when Salah's bombing forward and Diaz is bombing forward and cuts inside with the ball, you want somebody who won't waste opportunities in front of goal. And I think Jota answers the question there. I understand he's not that pressing machine, and his link-up play isn't as good as Firmino, but at the end of the day, you want goals. You're going to the Etihad, you want to score, you want to win. So Jota's the go-to for me.
Owen, I'll come to you with the same question. Yes, he is our second highest goal scorer. I've seen people say that in the chat, and Tar just said it as well. But, we know he can ghost games. He can score, don't get me wrong, but he can also ghost games. And, against Benfica, that's fine. Even against Arsenal, that's fine, and crop up with a goal. But can we really afford to have someone who can do that against Man City?
He comes at moments of magic, though. I think you can't deny that. And everything that Tar said, you can't deny it. You know what I mean? He is probably one of the best headed players in the air, if you know what I mean, in front of goal in the league. He just, honestly, I absolutely love Jota. I'm one of his biggest fans. And I think his work rate in pressing's great. Even though I love Firmino, I just feel like Firmino nowadays is kind of getting on a bit. He isn't the player that he used to be. And I think Mane, with this whole kind of false 9 as well, he's still quite new to the position. Even though he's played quite well when he's played there, don't get me wrong. He hasn't done anything too wrong, but he's still kind of learning and adapting to it. So it's kind of still learning there. And I would play Jota because you kind of know what you're getting, and he's played there for lots of games for us now. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, I can see. I'm willing to admit defeat. I can see I'm the minority, not just in the stream, but in the chat as well. A lot of people saying Jota has to start, which I didn't expect. I'll be honest with you. So fair enough. LFC transfer room, fair enough. I will ask. Interestingly, though, we've gone over who we would like to play, but who do you think Klopp will go with? Because I get a feeling he could go with the one. He could go for one last dance with Firmino, Salah and Mane, and I think for a lot of reasons it would make sense. But Damon, I'll come to you first. Who do you think he would go with?
I think after midweek's performance, I've got a feeling he's going to choose the same three. You can't drop anyone apart from Salah on form. You can't really drop Mane and Diaz from the midweek, but you can't drop Salah, can you? Because his form's going to come back at some point, and I'm hoping tomorrow is the day that it does. It would be nice. It would be. Imagine him scoring the winner and lifting up a shirt saying "deal done" or something like that. I mean, that would.
I would lose it. I would lose it.
Perfect, wouldn't it? I mean, yeah, I think he will go for the same for his midweek because of how well they play together.
And Tar, what about you? What do you think Klopp's got in mind for tomorrow?
I think he's going to go with the OG front three, the Salah, Mane, and Firmino. Their link-up play is just so good. They understand the chemistry's top-notch. And I think in games where there's such fine margins, when you can't really make any mistakes and, you want to make sure that the front three are acting like a unit, then Klopp's probably going to go with the three that he's been coaching since – the 17-18 season. Yeah, so 5 years now that he's had that OG front three. So he's probably going to trust the guys who's been there and done that for him.
Owen, you said that if we play Keita tomorrow, we'll get smashed. Is there anybody that you have that attitude towards in the possible front threes?
Probably Origi.
Well, okay, yeah, we'll rule out Origi. The top five: Salah, Mane, Firmino, Diaz, Jota. Is there anybody who you'd be unhappy with or think maybe doesn't fit to start this game?
Probably Firmino I'd be the most unhappy with, but I still wouldn't be kind of too disappointed if he played. Kind of whatever Klopp does in that situation there, I'm still confident, if you know what I mean. I'm not kind of worried about any of them players because they're all world class in my opinion, and they're all proving themselves one way or another at Liverpool Football Club. So any of them's good enough for me.
I'm bringing up this comment because it supports my view and my view. I'm the host, so I get to do this.
Oh, yeah, sure. You only bring up that one single comment that supports Firmino. There's about like 50 more in there that says Jota starts.
I admitted defeat, Tar. That's all you're getting. But to keep the debate alive, DJ says if Firmino drops deep like Kane did, will cause City problems. And that's why I think we shouldn't rule out Firmino so casually. I think he is the best of any of those five at dropping deep, adding another man to the midfield, which can in turn give us more control of the game potentially. And also, as he said, what Kane did was he was dropping back, receiving the ball into feet, and he was just back to goal, pinging them left or right to whoever was running beyond him. So in his case, it would be Salah or Mane or Diaz or Jota, whatever, running down the wings. And we know that Man City like to play inverted wing backs, especially Kyle Walker. He sometimes bombs down the right, but mainly comes into the midfield, adds another man in the midfield when they're on the attack. So there's going to be space out wide. And I think Firmino helps us exploit that better by drawing Laporte or whoever's going to play centre-back, drawing them in and then just pinging balls out left and right. Touch. Do you see where I'm coming from? Do you think I've got a bit of a point?
Yeah, definitely. I understand your viewpoint. It's not the end of the world if Firmino starts. I totally understand. He's a quality player. He's done it for 5 seasons already, and he'll fit that Kane role. What Spurs did and got all 3 points at the Etihad not long ago, back in February. That's exactly what his role is, and what Firmino will be brought in to do if he starts. So I agree. If you want to approach the game like that, then so be it. But I just think that you go with the guy who's been banging in goals and unique goals at the end of the day.
Fair enough. We'll leave team selection for a little bit. I want to talk briefly about the interviews that the managers gave over the last couple of days, very, very complimentary to each other, Damon. Do you think one or the other or both? Maybe there was a little bit of not mind games, but maybe not quite complete honesty in those interviews. Were they laying on a little bit thick with all the compliments?
I think they're trying to take the blame off themselves. That if they compliment the other manager, it takes like, well, I lost to a brilliant manager. So everyone does that. Don't the fans do that? Well, we're against a good team today, so at the end of the day, if we lost, we lost. But it's not like Wenger. It's not like Wenger Fergie, is it? Nothing like it at all. I mean, we were saying earlier about the rivalries between them both. Wenger Fergie had the same bitterness and the fierceness as the fans did and the players did. This just seems all a bit matey. I'm not a fan of it, if I'm honest. But when on the pitch, it's completely different. I mean, do you remember when Pep Guardiola had a meltdown last time at Anfield, where he two up in the. I mean, yeah.
Twice.
So they could say all the compliments they want in the press conference. When it's on the pitch, it's a different story. I can see it kicking off on the sideline tomorrow. Even though they do appreciate each other as managers, which they should do because they are two of the best managers in the world right now and two of the best managers of all time. If I'm honest, I think Guardiola says he's got the richest wine available left after the game. Let's see if he keeps that. If we beat them. Let's see if he keeps that promise after we beat them.
Owen, do you get the feeling of genuine mutual respect or slight underhandness from one or the other or both of them?
Yeah, there's definitely a huge amount of respect there. But I think a lot of it's kind of just playing up to the cameras, kind of giving the media what they don't really want. They want to be coming up with quotes about, oh, there's a fiery rivalry there. So kind of downplaying that a bit. But at the same time, both managers are very emotional. And if it's not going their way, then be sure to see things kick off, really. Because they both want to influence the referees. They both want to kind of make a difference to the game. So, yeah, they're both going to kind of try and referee the game themselves.
Anthony says Klopp 100% doesn't like Pep. I get the impression that it's the other way around. I feel like I'm just 100% biased on this one. I feel like Pep's just a bald fraud. I hate everything he says. Let me know. What are your thoughts?
I think, I don't think he's a fraud. I think he's far from that. He's a very, very good manager. But I partially agree with what you're coming from, originally when you asked the question, that both managers are being a bit too nice for this big derby almost. It's almost the biggest rivalry in football nowadays, Liverpool and Man City. So where's all that hatred? Where's all that, I don't like him, his tactics aren't, matching what I want, I don't like how he coaches, blah, blah, blah. But why not just go out there and say that? I think that adds a bit of extra layer and add some spice into the game. But yeah, I just think it's too much of that. It's friendly. If we lose, it's fine. He's a top world-class manager, all that stuff. So they're just playing safe for themselves. But at the end of the day, when it's in the locker room, both managers are going to be like, let's go out and kill them.
Yeah. It's also important to remember that we've got Man City again next week on Saturday in the FA Cup. I hate the idea of playing the same team twice in a week because it just feels like you can't win both games. Owen, do you think the result tomorrow in any way shapes what might happen next week in the FA Cup?
Yeah, it does. I think there's kind of mind games at the end of the day. Whoever loses, or if it's a draw, which is likely, I think a draw is likely. But at the end of the day, whoever kind of gets the worst off result kind of comes out of the game with a kind of bitter taste in their mouth is going to be hungry for revenge in the FA Cup. And I don't think we can forget the Champions League as well. It's very much on for a Liverpool-Man City final as things stand. I think they're the two best teams on either side of the route to the final. So yeah, I think 3 games coming up really of Liverpool-Man City potentially is really exciting. 2 best teams I've seen in my lifetime, to be honest with you. So I'm really excited, and I just think at the end of the day, it's only good for football, isn't it? It doesn't harm it. It just kind of brings more attention to English football, brings more attention to Liverpool, and yeah, it benefits everyone.
And Anthony's always got some corkers. He says City lose tomorrow, get knocked out versus Atletico, and then knocked out the FA Cup. We can only dream. Atletico are going to be a tough opposition, and at home, being only 1 goal down, it's certainly not over in that competition. Damon, coming to you with the same kind of question, I guess. Playing them twice in a week. If one, we saw it last year, actually. Chelsea had to play them in quick succession and in the final and managed to win all 3 of those games. Do you see something similar, depending on who wins tomorrow?
Yeah, it definitely has a big impact. I think if Liverpool lose, I think they will go all out for the FA Cup next week. We've got Benfica, haven't we, midweek? So we're already through practically in that. So we'll rest players for the weekend game against Man City again. So yeah, it depends on the score tomorrow. I think if we win, it takes a lot of pressure off us next week, because I think we're going to concentrate fully on the Premier League in terms of Premier League or FA Cup anyway. But to win both would be just unbelievable, wouldn't it? I mean, we talk about the quadruple, but it's playing the same team twice in a week, like you said, you just don't want to do it. Chelsea did it last year and did it, beat them 3 times, did you say? It's possible, but if I were choosing which game I would prefer, it would be tomorrow's, definitely, by far.
Hyler's been asking a few questions and he's getting more and more aggressive with them. So, Tara, I'll ask you this. Why will Liverpool win tomorrow? Not what, who do you think will win, or how do you think the game will go? Why do you think Liverpool will win tomorrow?
I think Liverpool will win tomorrow because of the journey that the Reds have been on. You look at a team that you go back 2-3 months ago, nobody gave Liverpool any chance of finishing top of the table. 14 points behind, always having to play catch up, games here and there, midweek matches, all that stuff. And it's been a fantastic run, 17 wins out of the last 18 matches. That's just absolutely phenomenal. And you look at the overall journey that Liverpool have been, they've had to face a lot of adversity, more than what Man City have to go through. And I think that when it comes to the match tomorrow, that is the factor that will edge it for Liverpool. The fact that we've done it the hard way, we've been the underdogs, and now it's time for the underdogs to knock off the first place team.
Yeah, I mean, do you share that kind of viewpoint? I think me and Tar can both get quite romantical at points, and I'm not afraid to show that. It does feel like a journey, and it feels like, because as we've all said, we've had this game in our calendar for months, and it feels like everything's built up and built up, not towards the end of the season, but towards this game. So far behind in January, last season, 30 points down or whatever because of horrific injuries. And it feels like, it all comes together tomorrow, and maybe we come out Monday morning top of the Premier League. Are you as romantic as us, or are you a little bit harsher on reality?
I can't lie, mate. You just convinced me there. Now I think when they win it 4-5-0 now, after that, I'm feeling the passion, the Reds family. You know what I mean? Like, I'm on side now. You know what I mean? We're gonna win. But yeah, I think after you said that, you've generally made me think. Yeah, you know what? We've got the passion, we've got the momentum, and yeah, why can't we go to the Etihad? We've got nothing to lose, have we? At the end of the day, City, who are feeling the pressure, they were 7 points. No, more than that, 10 points.
14 at one point. 14 points. Yeah.
So look, they're bottling it to get 1 point in front. They're bottling it, really, when you look at it. So it's ours to lose. They're to lose, sorry. And yeah, I think they'll be feeling the pressure tomorrow, depending on how the game goes. And yeah, let's go and beat them. I really hope we just thrash them.
Yeah, I mean, Drew, another regular contributor, he went on it was quite an emotional monologue in a stream with me and Matty. He spoke about like what I just said there about like the journey this season. I was almost tearing up just thinking about it. He was saying like these players, they're all going to be sat in that dressing room every game between now and the season thinking like, it doesn't matter. We're just running through brick walls, and we're gonna achieve what no other team has achieved. We're gonna do things that have never been done before, and it does. I'm getting so caught up in all the hype, but it just feels right. It just feels like it's the script has been written. We just need to play our parts. Damon, what about you?
It's Liverpool Football Club, isn't it? This is what we're used to. Stories like this, it's not only in the Champions League, but it can rub off into the Premier League hopefully at some point. I know we won it in the pandemic, but this one feels different. This whole season feels different. After last season with the injuries and everyone laughing at us and all the pundits saying you're not even going to get fourth, you're not even going to get third. At Manchester United's Ollie at the wheel above us. That's what they predicted. Every single person had Manchester United above us. Every person had Chelsea above us. Chelsea above us, just because they won a little Champions League. The back, but last season was a write-off. They got a reality check this season because writing us off at the beginning of the season because of last season was just comical because of all the injuries we had. No one had seen it like that before ever. Fabinho injured, Henderson injured, Matty, Gomez, Van Dijk. We had Kabak and Phillips at centre back, or Williams at centre back. We had a makeshift midfield. You cannot write Liverpool off, and this is why the story is ending tomorrow. And the way the season's gone, where last season went, and the way we've been doubters to believers. I mean, it's just written in the stars, isn't it? It's Klopp saying doubters to believers.
Brian.
It says it out. He said it in the first press conference, and tomorrow, hopefully, we become believers more than doubters, which everyone else gives us.
Can I add a other fun fact to this? The last time Liverpool won at the Etihad, it was April 10th, 2018. Tomorrow the game will be on April 10th, 2022. I think it's meant to be.
Well, we're very much all in dreamland at this point. 47 minutes in, we're all above the clouds. But Bojack is here to bring us back crashing down to earth. Bojack, good to see you. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Just saying, Tar, Owen, and Damon all put Gomez in their starting 11. Just saying. If you know, you know. Bojack is a staunch hater of Joe Gomez. Literally, despises the man. So he won't be too happy if we mention his name. But Tar, if we just try to come away from it all for a little bit, move away from the emotion. At the end of the day, City are a good team. As much as we don't want them to be, they are a very good team. And in previous seasons, they have had little blips where everyone starts to think that they're crumbling, but then they come back very strong and they'll go on a 10-match winning run like it's nothing. So we can't rule them out, and it could happen now. It's going to be tough tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah, it will definitely be tough. I mean, we can dream all we want. We can write amazing storylines, 3-0 away wins, last-minute winners, whatever. But at the end of the day, when the match finally arrives, I think everyone's hearts is going to be beating like 100 kilometers per hour, because City and Liverpool, these are the two best sides in the world at the moment, in my opinion. And there's just so little in between them. It's going to be a cracking match. I don't think there's just going to be more than one goal between two sides. So I think it's going to be tight. Nonetheless, it's going to be a very close match. City match Liverpool in every department of the field. Liverpool also match City as well. So it's the dream match. It's really a dream fixture. Just 1 point separating the two sides. It would be more perfect if both teams are level on points, but I guess everything's not fair at the end of the day. But yeah, top match.
Yeah. Let's run through and get some score predictions. Damon, what are you thinking for tomorrow?
I'm going to go 3-1 Liverpool. I think we'll come out of the blocks, depending on the midfield he plays, like you said earlier, and what attack he plays. If he goes the same midfield and attack as midweek, I think we'll go at it early. I think we'll get an early goal. I think it'll be 1-1 at half time. I think we'll come out in the second half and win 3-1.
Owen, what about you?
I'm a wreck, honestly. I'm in no position to give a prediction at all. I'm gonna go with 1-1, but it could be anything really. When you think about it, it really could be anything. But I just think that Man City was do us in the first half. Kind of half time, everyone will be writing us off, going Liverpool finished, Liverpool terrible. They're not going to win anything more. And then second half, we'll come out, realise that we need to put our act together, and then we'll go on and we'll get a goal. But I don't think that will be quite enough. And I think City will just hold on in the end.
James Milner winner. That's what Owen's going for. Tara, are you sticking with a 5-4, or have we talked you into something else?
5-4. It's going to be very tight. I think it's going to be 2-2 at the break. Second half coming out. City's going to go up. Liverpool going to score. Liverpool going to score again. City going to equalize. And then in the end, let's say a Mo Salah solo effort to kill the game off. And then he'll just do this in front. He'll do the gladiator celebration in front of the away fans like he did in 17-18.
You've been playing too much FIFA, you have. Not in Korea,
we can all dream, and I'm sure some of us might do tonight. I'm pretty sure a couple of days ago I had a nightmare that we lost. I'm pretty sure I did. It's really starting to affect me. But everybody who is watching, remember, we will be doing a live watch along for the game starting at 3:45 tomorrow with myself. So same place, 3:45 tomorrow afternoon, English time. We'll begin pre-match build-up for the live watch-along for that game. So I expect all 19 of you who are watching to join and keep me company, because you're going to see some sides of me that you've never seen before, because I am going to be violently sick. I'm going to shit myself. I don't know what I'm going to do. It's going to be wild. So press that subscribe button, everybody, if you haven't done already. Tar, Owen, Damon, thank you very much for joining me and keeping me company this evening whilst I dread what might happen tomorrow. But thank you to everybody who has been watching as well. As I said, please do like this video and subscribe to the channel, and make sure you stick around. We've got live content pretty much every day, and videos on transfer news, reactions, watch-alongs, everything. So this is a great place to be if you're a Liverpool fan and if you have not already subscribed. So thank you guys for joining me. Thank you to everybody who's been watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.